behind me is our fully converted medium wheelbase extra high roof 2015 Ford Transit van. And after purchasing this van in Scotland
Wow.
and making a few changes, we have a hole. It is now completely off-grid and fully functional. So we are now ready in order to give you a full tour of our van. This is gonna be amazing.
So let us show you our little tiny home on wheels. As I open this door, you'll immediately notice that this van is fully handcrafted with wooden countertops, navy blue cupboards, and a light grey undertone that really makes this van warm and cozy. The first area that we walk into is our kitchen, and it's got loads of space around us, but what I really want to point out is actually the height of this van. Just for reference, I am 1.75 meters, and there's loads of headspace above me, and the height of this van just makes this van feel so much more open. So in our kitchen is where you're really going to see the hand craftsmanship of our van. We have a beautiful L-shaped wooden countertop. This countertop has been burnt a little bit just to give it a bit more of a texture. On this countertop we have a 2-hob gas stove where we keep our kettle, and this kettle is powered obviously by gas so that we don't have to use any of our electricity. And underneath our gas stove, this is where we keep our gas bottle. We keep it here just for the ease of convenience of switching it on and off. And in this cupboard we also have a fire extinguisher just in case something goes wrong, but I really hope that nothing ever goes wrong and we don't have to use it. We have this beautiful backsplash with these tiles on it that makes it feel homely, just to separate the kitchen from the cabin. And on our counters we also have these little pads that we bought from IKEA that you can place your hot pots on just so that you don't damage the counters. So to my left we have our sink, and on top of our sink we have a dish cover. This is something that we bought from IKEA, and it's actually a dish rack. And what I really like about this dish rack is that it sits at a slant. It has this little lip here, so that when I put it on the counter, then all the dripping water from the dishes can run into the sink. Our sink is a 10-liter sink, and it has this beautiful black accent tap that we can move, and it also has hot and cold water. We've also added this little thing on top which makes washing dishes a dream, as it comes with 3 different water flow settings. Behind our sink we have this little nook that we have chosen to be our tea and coffee nook, and we've also kept our soaps as well as this little fern just to make it a little bit more homely. So above that we have our spice rack that holds all of our spices, our tea towel as well as our drying cloth, and right next to that we have our carbon monoxide alarm, and the carbon monoxide alarm will actually beep when any gases have leaked. Below our kitchen counters we have 3 cupboards. In this one we have the gas, which we've already shown you, and in this one, this is where we keep all of our pots and our pans, all of our cutlery, our cups and our mugs. And in this cupboard, this is where we have our safe as well as our electronics. Dan can take you through all of that a little bit later, but it kind of also acts as our pantry. In this cupboard we keep our extra cloths, our washing powder, our dustbin bags, and a few other bits and bobs that we use on a daily basis. Above me we also have more cupboard space where we keep all of our food as well as little snacks and stuff like that. I know it doesn't look like we have much food at the moment, but that's actually because we need to do a grocery run. Daniel has put in a gas strut in order for this cupboard to stay open, and he's also fixed some magnets so all of our food doesn't come flying around when we're driving. Above me in the kitchen we also have our Fiamma air vent, and we can open this air vent whenever we're cooking to allow some heat as well as the smells to escape, and to also let other people know that we are cooking some really good food. Above the cabin we have this overhead compartment which kind of acts like a giant cupboard for us. In here we kind of keep our umbrellas, extra towels, our heaters that we're not using at the moment. We put our jackets there just to store out of the way, and we also keep our cover that separates the cabin area from the rest of the van when we go into nighttime mode, but we'll show you that a little bit later in the video. Behind our kitchen we have our dining room / workspace. Right now we are still in kitchen mode as this table acts as extra counter space, but With the ease of swiveling this table out, this quickly becomes our dining room table or our work table. As you'll see, we have 2 areas for Danny and I to sit comfortably. You can see that it's quite spacious and I can lounge in this area a little bit as well. And the cushioning on these couches are super soft for my bum. Next to me over here we have 2 plug points as well as our control switches for our lights. So we have our lights above us, which I can switch on and off, as well as these 2 little tiny lights above me over here, just to make it a little bit more cozy. Next to that we have 2 USB chargers, which Danny is currently charging our camera batteries at the moment, and it's also got a screen to see how much voltage is left in our batteries. On these panels as well we have a control for our diesel heater, which is a
Eberspacher
diesel heater, that's a mouthful to say, as well as a switch for our 5-liter boiler, which gives us hot water. And behind me we have also hung up our YouTube award. I know it has been a long time that we have had it, but when we've been traveling full time we haven't actually had a home to hang it up in, and now that we finally have a little home on wheels, we have finally put it up, and I am actually super proud of it because I can sit here and I can look at it when I'm editing and it just gives me motivation. But it also doubles as a mirror so that I can do my hair and my makeup when I'm sitting here. If we have to bend down, then over here we have our, how many liters is this?
43 liter.
Our 43 liter fridge. It hasn't got that much space for all of our food, but it's perfect for about 4 or 5 days worth. If we take our table off and store it away, we are able to access extra storage underneath this bench where we keep extra bags as well as chemicals for our chemical toilet. Talking about chemical toilets, let me introduce you to the bathroom. So one thing that was very important to us was to actually have a bathroom with a shower, but we didn't want to sacrifice any space because obviously living in tiny spaces, we need all the space that we can get. So this over here is our bathroom. So we have completely transformed this underseat compartment into a waterproof shower. In the shower we keep our Thetford Potti 145 chemical toilet. We only use this chemical toilet in emergency situations, but basically you open the lid, you open this little compartment, you do your business, and you can even flush it just to make it smell a little bit better, and then it all nicely stays over there. But when you want to shower, it's a little bit of a mission, but so worth it to be able to have the luxury of being clean. Is you just have to
I was waiting for that.
It's a little bit tight.
That is my job.
You have to just move the toilet out the way, thank goodness it's not too full at the moment, and grab our shower curtain. But this is a special shower curtain because it's a mildew and water resistant shower curtain, so it dries super fast. So I just gotta unfold it and then basically just clip it into these little hooks that Daniel has put up at the top. And there we go, we have our shower. And when I climb in, you'll actually see that we have quite a bit of space, as well as a drain outlet to let the water flow out. But you're probably wondering where we get our water. We have an outdoor shower, which Daniel can show you later, that we have connected a 3-meter long pipe and brought it over to have our tap over here. And even though the water is on outside, we've got the special nozzle, which if I push the button, then we can control the water from inside. And then when we are done showering, we just leave the curtain up for a few minutes in order to dry, and then we can take it down and use it back as a chair. Towards the back of the van, this is where we have our bed. This bed is super comfy, and it's also a double bed. It's 138 centimeters by 190 centimeters, and if you remember my height from the beginning of the video, then that means that I can lay down here super comfortably. We have little cutouts on either side that allows that extra space for our feet and our head. By this bed, we've also got 4 cupboards. So these 2 cupboards are mine.
No ways, you cleaned that up for this video. That was a mess.
I really did clean it up. I can't fit all my clothes in here at once, so I have kept my summer clothes, because it's winter now. I've kept my summer clothes in the boot below, which Daniel will show you. But let's inspect how clean his cupboards are.
Oh, those are so nice. And actually, those are always like that. Look. Not shabby, hey?
Not too shabby. We've added these 2 super cozy blankets, and we have these 2 scatter cushions that we've added just to add a pop of color to the van.
Okay, now that we're done with the inside, let me show you the electronics and as well as what is underneath our bed. But to the side, on our windows, we actually have curtains, and these are blackout curtains just so that it allows extra light into the van when it's open, and also during the night time we can actually just close it and no one can see inside the van. But underneath us, let me keep these things open. But underneath us, we actually have a boot space. But I'm sure you've noticed our awesome bags. These that we take with everywhere is our level 8 bags.
Sail!
No, not again, not again. If you know us, last year we actually broke 3 bags, but ever since getting these level 8 bags, they are so durable that we haven't even broken it yet.
Sail!
No, it is discount, discount, discount. These bags are so durable that after owning them for over a year, there's still not a single crack or anything that's broken on the bag. They also come with a TSA approved lock, which means nobody's breaking into your bag. And they also have the most rolliest wheels that I have ever seen. So you kind of look like one of those fancy people in the airport where their wheels roll so smoothly.
Sail!
No, Leanne.
Sail! Sail! Sail!
It's discount! So if you are going traveling and need a bag that's going to last you a lifetime, I highly suggest getting a level 8 bag. I'll leave a link in the description below for you to click on so that you can get a 10%
discount!
Thank you! So upon your checkout, type in the discount code TheBuddymoon10 and get yourself a 10%
discount.
Thank you. Now let us show you the rest of the van. So our boot is actually quite big. It's been designed for bicycles as well, so that we can actually in future get a bicycle and it will still be able to fit underneath here. On my right hand side, I've added 2 hooks where we can actually keep our electronic cable, which allows us to plug into mains, and we also keep our hose pipe because we do have a 70-litre water tank underneath me in which we can fill up, and that is where we're actually getting our water from. Right at the back of the boot, we've also added a laundry basket so that we can chuck our clothes inside there once we lift up the bed, which I think is kind of a good idea. That means laundry is not in our way at all. And then to my right, we also have the shower and the tap, which is where we're getting our water from for the shower. And if I take this out, I can just step up here and I'm able to put it up there, and we have an outside shower. So that means when we're camping on the beach or stuff like that, we're able to take all the sand off us. One thing I have added to these doors is an actual lock, which actually connects to the other door, so that when we're inside the van and we're busy sleeping, we can actually just lock these doors from the inside, so that even though somebody breaks in, they aren't able to actually open these doors. We've also added a lock somewhere else. Over here, we've also added another lock onto our sliding door, and once the door closes, this little piece is able to lock into it. So once again, if somebody tries to break into this door, this lock is going to prevent them from coming in. As we have mentioned earlier on in this video, this van is off-grid. On top of the roof, we have 2 100-watt solar panels that are busy charging our batteries. Our batteries are stored underneath our seats here in the cabin area. So underneath our seats, we have 2 batteries, which are each 115 amp hours, which means it's giving us 230 amp hours worth of battery. These batteries are charged by the solar panels through a Renogy Wanderer PWM Solar charge controller. What this controller does is it basically monitors the voltages and the amperages to make sure that the battery is being charged in the correct way. We also have a switch over here which is able to turn the back on and off of the van to give us power, and then we also have a split charge relay. Now what this does is it allows the batteries to be charged through the alternator of the van, so that means while we're busy driving, the car is charging the batteries over and above the solar panels. We've also added a Renogy BT-1 Bluetooth module, which allows us to connect to an app so that we can actually see how much wattage is coming through the solar panels and how much capacity is also left inside the batteries. So this is where the rest of our electronics are. Now this is an inverter. Because the car is running on 12 volts, some of the appliances like our fridge actually work on a 220 volt system. So this converts the 12 volts of the batteries all the way to 220 volts so we can power the fridge, as well as our boiler, as that is also a 220 volt. This over here is our mains box. So when we connect to mains inside a campsite, we are able to plug it into the van and we can actually use normal electricity instead of the electricity coming from the batteries. This over here is where we actually plug our electronics inside the car into the mains, and then once we're done here and we go completely off grid, we plug these into the inverter so that we are able then to change the 12 volts to the 220 volts. And then underneath this is our diesel heater, and then right over here is where the hot air comes out in order to warm up the van. On this side underneath here, we also actually have a water pump, and that is how we're getting water inside the van. It brings the water from the tank underneath the car all the way through this pump and then pushes it towards our taps. Then underneath this box is where our boiler is busy sitting. Now, because the two windows on the sides are tinted, nobody can see inside the van. But during the night when we're wanting to go to bed and the lights are on, you can actually see inside the van, and it's why we bought these black sheets over here. Now, they are basically like a blackout curtain, and all I've done is attach Velcro onto them and also attach Velcro onto the windows, so that all we have to do is stick this on there and then nobody can see inside the van during the night. Okay, there, done. Now no one can see inside except for this part. So we have bought this black material, which is completely huge. And then all we have to do is just stick it onto this backboard so that nobody can see in from that side as well. And there you go. Now nobody can see inside this van, which makes it feel completely private. Ooh.
Well, that is our tiny home, and it's going to take us all over in order to complete the goal that we have set for ourselves in order to travel all of UK as well as Europe.
We hope you really enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe, and I guess we'll see you guys in the next video. All right, let's hit the road.
Let's go.